end of the paved road. Did use the car tent last night. Good day, welcome to another video. I'm Bobby, this is an NRQ eCamper. So today this is about some people call range anxiety and how far we're going. So we're going out to a campsite at French Pass. We're currently in Nelson. It's 108 kilometers away, and almost half of it is gravel road, which consumes a lot more power. Tell a lie, we're actually going to camp at Elaine Bay because French Pass campsite is fully booked tonight, and that's the only night I can go. I got a friend with me, he's not going to be in the video, so yeah, that's the only night that suits us both. This is going to be a little bit of a simulated idea of what it would be if we were going to stay there a night or 2 nights, maybe using aircon or using heating. So I'll talk a bit more about that later, about how much that uses, and just cooking. So we are going to be cooking, but probably not too much. And getting back to the charger again. So from Nelson to French Pass, 108 kilometers, a little bit more for adding Elaine Bay. The next nearest public charger is 90 kilometers from French Pass, so not too far, right? As you guys know, I drive Ioniq 5. It does allegedly 430 kilometers. In reality, it's about 380. That means plenty of leftover. I should have somewhere about 35 to 40% left when I get back to the charger, when I come back here in Nelson. So we're just charging up to 100%. Actually, for what we're doing, it's a little bit over the top, but to simulate, if we're going a bit further, then we need to be charged at 100%. And that's so you got a nice buffer. That gives us 10 to 15% buffer for things that go wrong. You probably saw my last video, which was supposed to be how to camp in the rain, but actually it ended up rescuing someone and taking them back home and staying at their place tonight. So actually it's maybe late here now. That's life. You need that little bit extra, you never know. I'll try and get some scenery along the way because it is quite beautiful out there. That's in the Marlborough Sounds in the top of the South Island of New Zealand. Come along, enjoy the scenery. It's a little bit of a trip, but the focus is going to be on the usage of power and feeling confident to go somewhere a bit remote. Like, subscribe, share, all that stuff, yeah, blah 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 blah. Yeah, please write blah 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 blah, that's okay too. We are starting almost 2 or 3 hours later than we planned. I've just heard the charger click off. Time for me to unplug and get going. Alright, let's head on the way. See you later. So we're coming up to the end of the paved road. We call it sealed in New Zealand. So there'll be gravel up there. or unsealed. I'll show you what this is about. Alright, show you the trick on this one for gravel road driving. Actually on this stretch it's only about 20 kilometers, so actually it's not worth it. But if you're going a long way, get the tape, cover all the holes. Now if you've got one of these cars that's already got the dust cover, you're sorted. You don't need it. And that way the dust from the road doesn't get in and cause problems with the contacts. Can carry, if you're going to be off on gravel roads so much, then maybe carry a can of compressed air and you can just go squirt squirt. But this is a quick easy way, especially if you're unorganized. You can just stop at a hardware store or supermarket, buy one of these, and you don't have issues with dust because it builds up and it creates problems with electricity and slows your charging down basically. So that's the tip to go with this video of gravel road driving. Only not seen many people show this one, so this is a really handy tip. The road out here is very zigzag, up and down, so for anyone who gets car sick, you kind of got to do many stops, or just go very slow and carefully, or get the person who gets car sick to drive. It's probably the better way. Most of the road is now paved. I remember it all as being gravel many years ago, so that's actually made it a lot more helpful. This bit along here, a lot of people find it a little bit scary because it just drops off. We don't have any safety barriers, safety trees, safety lampposts, safety sheep, just nothing. Yeah, some people find that a little bit scary to drive, so again, slow and steady. If you feel you're uneasy, maybe it's coming out the French Pass, this may not be the place for you to come out to. Just confuse this poor person who's like, why am I stopped here? It's a road where you need a bit of caution with it, and it's not too dusty today, but it can be quite dusty, as you've just seen with these vehicles going past. There's another one. This fella's got a trailer, it's going to kick the dust up a bit more. Just to illustrate why some people feel this road's scary, because as you go along, like, kind of missed it, but you just see the edge here and it just drops off and all you see is the water. So yeah, if you were to pass the safety grass and go down, it's a wee way, it would definitely spoil your day. So yeah, be careful. But hey, the road's not single lane officially, but it's not so narrow, so generally there's places to pull over like we are here. That's not a problem to pass. So we are just coming up to where D'Urville Island is. The water is actually French Pass. You can't quite see it, but I'll show you a bit more in a moment. Sadly, it's just cost prohibitive to go over onto D'Urville Island. There is roads and a campsite there. Would love to have done it. I'll talk to you a bit more about that in a moment. It's so expensive. See all along the length of French Pass. At that thin point you might just about make out some white water. I'll zoom it in a bit, and there's a very rough patch of water there, but on a nice day this is so So it just comes down to the viewpoint here at French Pass, which is actually the piece of water. And this is the white water, so sometimes depending on the tide and the current it can be whirlpools here. But at the moment this is just where the water, so much water coming in here, going through this really small gap, and it goes over like a waterfall. So this is the sea, but it is behaving like a river. And so yeah, this is obviously not a place to be in the water. So in Māori legend, that would usually mean is a taniwha, which is like a water monster. And water monsters like to be very mischievous and naughty to people. And generally they are bad news. So I don't recall if they officially say there is a taniwha here, but I'll be very surprised that there isn't. So this is a very close gap. The gap between the mainland and the island is pretty small. Interesting note, so Derval Island is a very well-known common name after some sailor whose family name was Derval from France. But the indigenous name, the Māori name, is Orangatoto Ki Te Tonga, which means Rangitoto the South. So it doesn't get mixed up with Rangitoto in Auckland. Rangitoto means blood red sky. And in Auckland's case, that's to do with it being a volcano. My guess here is because sunset would be this way, and I'm guessing it's sunset because this is not a volcanic area. But it's a guess. On reference to a previous video, I bird listen. Birds are so easy to hear, so hard to see. If you want to quote that one, have a look up here. That's the Sinclair wetland video, so have a look here. Actually, I don't think it's a bird, I think it's a cicada. Okay, cicadas are so easy to hear, so hard to see. So this is French Pass Village, mainly holiday homes, but this is the end of the road, and from the launchway there used to be a ferry that goes over to the island there, but they moved the ferry to go from Nelson, and the price went up, a lot up. We're talking $5,000 return if you're the only car, and the ferry only takes 2 cars that way. Over here is the campsite where this collection of cars are amongst the trees, and actually I'm pleased. Looking at it, it is so full and it's quite small. So I'm pleased they said there's no space tonight, because it would be a bit cramped feeling. So really crystal clear water here. Last time I tried swimming here, it just been a bit of a northwest storm through and it was quite cold. If we get time, we'll go for a swim at Elaine Bay where we're going to stay. This is the kind of the very top northwest side of Marlborough Sounds, and this place is best appreciated by boat, hence so many boat floaters here. And these red trees, so I can get the camera to focus, they're called Moawhitu. Slang name is New Zealand Christmas tree because they come out to flower at Christmas and New Year time. And they're definitely a beautiful tree. I forgot to note it when we left Nelson, but I noticed maybe 1 kilometre down the road that the car was saying 396 kilometres on 100%, so it does that. That's what I say, 380. Because it goes on how you've been driving before. So we're getting now and have a look. So it's still saying 302. We got heaps and 76% of the battery, so that's exactly on par for 400. But we know it lies, it's not. But by the time we go back to Elaine Bay, that's 23 kilometres from here, and we do some cooking and we go back to Nelson, we're going to have about 35% left, so that is heaps. So say we're here camping 2 nights in winter, or so hot and humid in the summer and you wanted to use aircon. Actually that's unlikely, but some people may. Then that's going to be another 20% of the battery. That still leaves you 15 spare, so that's a good margin. That's like 70 kilometres spare, so don't worry about it too much. With going over to Derval, it would have been awesome to go out to the remote campsite there. It's a 15 kilometre drive from memory, give or take. There's only 50 kilometres of road on the island, every last bit of it, which I don't think you'd be driving. Still, for going out 1 or 2 nights, I expected to have 25 to 30% of battery left for summertime camping. Absolutely no need to worry. I guess, you know, it comes down to your vehicle. Your vehicle's only going to do 300 kilometres. It's getting out a little bit tight. But there's a secret. I'm talking about public charging, where you go up and you pay at a normal network. But where we turn off the road from Nelson, if we're carried on towards Havelock, it's an area called the Rye Valley. There is 2 places there you can charge. One is a pub, and they've only got a wall socket, but they're on plug share, and it says how much they want. I think it was $5 or $10. So just park up there for a few hours and chill out, and that's one way of getting that extra distance. The other one's a little bit further down. It's the Rye Valley meets the Bulwar Valley. There's a campsite there. It's a Department of Conservation one. It's one of their really posh ones. It's probably $40 now a person, but they have power sites. You stay there the night, you plug the car in overnight. So even if you've got a car that can only do 300 kilometres, you're still good. But it's technically private charging when you're going on a campsite. So that's how you do it. So there's no need to stress. There's always a way around it. So now I think it's time. It's getting a little bit late. We started late, we're still late. Late is the word of the day. Let's go to Elaine Bay and we'll cook first, and then we'll set up camp. Because I've taken those people yesterday, I converted the car to a more normal setup, and everything is in the boot, so what we're not using will be coming in the front. So let's go set up camp. Oh, good morning from Elaine Bay. Did use the car tent last night. That's worked out pretty well. So it was two of us, a little bit fiddly to put up. My friend hasn't done one before, so yeah, first time. That's some of the view here. So in here there was a couple of other people camping at the left first thing this morning, so it was a bit of a tight fit. We had booked, but they still had this sign up by then, and we got in about 8 o'clock, so a bit too late really. We had to find a place to squeeze in, but it worked out. Actually, let's just take a walk down to the beach here. So I've actually come and explored all this because it was we're like rushing around trying to get food done and get the tent part set up. So, but this is a nice little spot, isn't it? Nice clear water like most of the Marlborough Sounds. And over here, so we've got the swimming pontoon over there as well. So if you're wondering about all the dead trees, they are pine trees called worldling pines here. That's the radiata, which are grown commercially, but outside the commercial forest they're seen as a bit of a pest in our native areas, and a lot of this is regenerating native areas here. Basically poisoning the individual trees, and they kind of come a little bit of an eyesore. They just take over, and you can see there's quite a few pine trees here. And if I spin around, you'll see there's all pine plantation behind for timber. So going to be pretty hard to win that battle. Another beautiful place. Just used the vehicle to load a little bit for a bit of cooking yesterday. That's about it. So we'll heat some water up, heat some food up, and actually we've got to get going soon. My friend's due at work. Christmas and New Year, it is favourite camping season for people here. I just realised I should be in the sun, not the camera. It's the favourite camping season in New Zealand for foreign visitors and for domestic tourists alike. This is why we get full campsites at nice little pretty places like this, and that's just the way it goes. So I get distracted by fish jumping around here. I know. Yeah. Typical way. Point the camera and it all stops.
Yeah, the South Island's pretty nice, alright.
Oh yeah.
It's different to the north, eh?
Yeah, very different.
Yeah, big.
I guess we'll go back to Nelson and I'll drop my friend off, and I'll come back and we'll do a bit of a report about power use. Right, so back in Nelson, end of this trip. Energy use has been a lot more efficient than I calculated. I did use a better route planner for that. I remember most of the back road being gravel, and only about 20 kilometers of it is now gravel. That makes a big difference on efficiency. I was calculating of using basically 250 watt hour per kilometer. It's way down on that. Coming back from Elaine Bay, 154 watt hours per kilometer. It's very good. If I look at like French Pass to Elaine Bay, 15.3, going from Nelson out to pretty much French Pass, 17.2. They're the ones for this trip only. Instead of 35% left, I've got 48. That's just that difference between the driving efficiency. It's 100 watt hours per kilometer less. So yeah, that makes a lot of difference. Absolute waste of time doing 100% in this case, but I'll put it this way. If you're using heating or air conditioning, even if you're just whilst you're sleeping, and let's say that's for 10 hours, that's going to be 10% of that battery. Say that was 2 or 3 days, then that 48 is dropping down to 38, 28, 18. So you could safely stay for 3 days with heating on. I think that demonstrates that there's plenty of spare power to get you there, get you back, and power for cooking, which, you know, most times cooking prep maybe an hour, but cooking time is only 10 minutes or maybe 20 minutes. That doesn't use a lot of power. It's only if you're heating at night it uses the power, and that's still very efficient. So easily can go somewhere which is, what was this, 108 kilometers, I think, if I remember right. I forgot to look. It could be a little bit further. It means you can easily go for a night or two, and that's, like I say, from the nearest, that's on the public charging here in Nelson. If it was Havelock, then it's actually 12 kilometers closer, so that's not a lot of difference, but it gives you another leeway of 2 or 3%. For those of you who aren't in New Zealand and you're in a country where there's more remote places to go, you actually got to slow down and go and stay at probably a campsite where there's power, which you can plug into overnight and do it that way. You may find if you're going somewhere very remote, you might have to do 2 nights at a campsite to get a full charge, or just stop at, not go so far the next day and stop at another campsite. So that's how to manage it. Make sure you got all the just normal wall socket and caravan sockets. That's it for this video. Please stay subscribed, like, share, comment, remember blah 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 blah. Yeah, teasing. Write something productive. What's your experience of going somewhere more remote where it's further away from a car charger, like from a public one where you just turn up and pay? Maybe you've done this. Yeah, let us know down below. Whatever else you want to comment on, maybe it's just a beautiful scenery you saw, because this is a really nice part of the country. Thank you for watching the video. I'm Robbie. This is NRQ eCamper. Take care. Chatting to someone else at the campsite, he thought there was a further place to go than French Pass, so I'll have to have a look at the map again, and I thought it was the other way around, but maybe I'm wrong.